You're now going to, I believe, quadruple your subscriber base based on this acquisition of Time Warner Cable. However, you're also acquiring one of the most hated brands in the cable industry world. So how are you going to improve that now?
Well, we are going to change the brand to Charter Spectrum as our service, but obviously just changing the name of a company it's not a solution. You've got to run a good service operation, and we do at Charter, and we're getting better every day. And we've invested an enormous amount of money, and we'll continue to invest an enormous amount of money in improving the whole service experience through better call centers. We've, at Charter, hired 7,000 people in the last 4 years, and proportionally, we're going to need to hire 20,000 people in the new company, take all of our calls and keep them on shore, create self-service functions online for customers, train our technicians, give them tools and test equipment that work, and do the job right the first time. So all of that takes a little time for us to implement, but we know how to do it. And we'll do that and simultaneously change our brand approach.
Tom, from a consumer standpoint, if I'm a Time Warner Cable customer today, when my service eventually switches over to Charter, is there a specific product that will change? Will I be able to tell that, oh, I'm no longer a Time Warner Cable subscriber. Now, now that I have Charter, I can do this, which I couldn't do before?
Well, I mean, technically, you're a Charter customer today if you're a Time Warner customer as of this moment. But when we get what we call Spectrum services deployed, what that means is we'll have a state-of-the-art interactive user interface with search and discovery of content. We'll integrate over-the-top services with that product so that you'll be able to search and see content in a seamless way, whether it's an over-the-top service or whether it's a service delivered by us. We'll take your data speeds up. We'll put a two-way interactive outlet on every video or on every TV that you have so that you'll have on-demand on every outlet, and the full range of user interface services that I discussed. We'll price and package everything in a compelling way so that it's competitive and better than what our competitors offer. And we'll put that with a voice product that's fully featured, a data product that's faster than our competitors, and a video service that's better than our competitors, all HD and all interactive on every outlet, and backed up by a great service proposition.
Tom, one of the things that you acquire with Time Warner Cable is one of their regional sports networks, or several of their regional sports networks. This wasn't really a thing that Charter did all that frequently as you've been CEO, that meaning wanting to go in and acquire regional sports networks. Are you comfortable owning Time Warner Cable's regional sports networks? Is that something you want to add to as now the CEO of this larger company?
Well, it wasn't the reason why we wanted to do the transaction. We fundamentally believe that cable is a superior infrastructure, and that done well, it can be a really great product and really well resonate with customers. And so the sports channels were not the driver of this transaction, but they're there. They're valuable assets, and we'll try to evaluate how that fits into our long-run strategy. The fundamental strategy that we went with in this transaction was just to do the business better. And so there are all sorts of upsides that come from the scale that we're acquiring and the assets that we're acquiring, but we're not really ready to say how we're going to implement those opportunities.
Well, speaking about doing the business better, Tom, what about programming costs, which are quite high at Charter? How are you, with a combined entity like this where you have a larger scale, how are you going to approach content providers differently now?
Well, it's an interesting situation as content is changing the way it's distributing itself. But, the new Charter is going to have more than a $9 billion a year programming bill that we pay to the content industry. And on that same platform, the content industry sells $4 or $5 billion of advertising. So we're a significant contributor now to the content ecosystem, the development and deployment of content. And, one of the biggest cost drivers of all of our products over the last 10 years has been the the rise of content costs. And so we hope to get that under control, but we also hope to work with content companies at creating new products that create value for customers so that customers actually are comfortable with what they're paying for. And that's been a challenge with constantly raising rates.
Tom, your largest shareholder, John Malone, has referred to Charter as a horizontal acquisition machine. This may sound silly coming off a huge deal today, but how quickly will we see Charter do its next transaction? And are you specifically looking at some of the smaller overbuilders with the FCC condition that you will need to overbuild certain territories?
Well, the FCC condition requires us to build 2 million passings, 2 million homes over the next 5 years. And don't forget, we're going to be a company that starts with almost 50 million homes today. And so it's an issue, but it's not a significant issue in terms of what we have to construct. We've just gone through 2 years of transactions and regulatory approval. And so we don't have any new transactions in mind at the moment. We're going to integrate the products or the companies that we have and try to make our strategy work. And so I think at the moment we'll take a breather.